This scene is from the movie The Dark Knight, a very formalistic and usually open-framed film. The story leading up to this scene begins with the Joker getting captured for the first time in the film. He had just finished battling Gotham SWAT team, Harvey Dent, and the Batman during their plans use Harvey as bait to capture the Joker. Commissioner Gordon is alerted that Harvey Dent never made it home from the mission to capture the Joker, so he rushes back to immediately interrogate the Joker. This scene is significant from the get-go because this is the first time Commissioner Gordon is face to face and speaking with the Joker. The lighting in this portion of the scene is very low key and creates a very ominous and unpredictable feeling.
Harvey Dent never made it home.
Of course not.
What have you done with him?
Me? I was right here. Who did you leave him with? Your people?
So the camera is using a standard over-the-shoulder shot for a good bit of the dialogue here, with subtle zooming to increase the pressure the audience feel from the Joker's menacing presence.
Assuming, of course, that they are still your people and not Maroni's. Does it depress you, Commissioner, to know just how alone you really are? Does it make you feel responsible?
Very nice subtle detail there. When the Joker says, um, uh, just how alone you really are, it does a nice, slow, slight dolly zoom on the Commissioner. And it truly makes the audience feel isolated and alone because it is closed up, and close-up frame of nature of this shot.
For Harvey Dent's current predicament, where is he? What's the time?
What difference does that make?
Well, depending on the time, he may be in one spot or several.
If we're gonna play games.
Okay, so a nice subtle detail there that's usually overlooked unless you've seen the film multiple times. As the Commissioner goes to remove the handcuffs off the Joker takes a quick glance at Commissioner's watch, so he knows the time during this whole interaction in this whole scene. He has an exact idea of what time it is. So I'll rewind just a tad there so you can see. It's just a quick glance down to his right,
If we're gonna play games.
right there.
I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
Ah, the good cop, bad cop routine.
Not exactly.
Ah.
So, when the Commissioner leaves, there is an immediate change from low-key to high-key lighting, and it reveals the Batman has been lurking in the shadows behind the Joker the whole time during this interrogation. This is an excellent use of lighting to hide things in plain sight, and it throws a huge surprise at the audience for their first time watching the film. This lighting also makes the Joker look a lot less menacing, as his makeup is all faded and he seems a lot more exposed.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. He can't feel the neck. See?
You wanted me. Here I am.
I wanted to see what you'd do. And you didn't disappoint. You let 5 people die. Then you let Dent take your place. Even though guys.
So right here, it's using a very kind of shallow focus, and it was doing like some focusing tricks to kind of disorient you after that hit. It was very out of focus at first, but then slowly, gradually, the Joker came into focus. But everything else behind him was all completely out of focus, so it's very shallow focus during this scene.
Like me, that's cold.
Where's Dan?
Those mob fools want you gone so they can get back to the way things were. But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever.
And why'd you want to kill me?
During this part of the dialogue, the camera is utilizing an over-the-shoulder shot with a slight pan to it to increase the disorienting feel of the Joker's maniacal conversation. The scene gains even more importance as um, uh, we find out here in just a second.
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No, no, no. No, you. You complete me.
You're garbage. You kills for money.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. You even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now. When they don't, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. See, their morals.
So you can see right here, this as the scene kind of gains more importance, because you can tell that the Batman is starting to get very angry with the Joker, and the Joker has a sense that he needs the Batman, that and the Batman needs him. That his whole purpose is to be a nemesis of Batman, and that's the only reason he survives, is just to be Batman's nemesis. Um, uh, but as the Joker starts to insult and degrade Batman, the camera cuts to this reaction shot here, and you can feel the tension rising as Batman gives that look of anger and embarrassment. But he's also really starting to build the tension up here.
Their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. See, I'm not a monster.
And we also have this non-diegetic music building up in the background. It's slowly starting now. I mean, it's kind of been underlying for a little bit of the scene, but it really starts to build up as we go on.
I'm just ahead of the curve.
Right there, the camera switches to a handheld camera, as you can see as it yanks Joker across the screen. It also takes the camera right there with you, gives you the feel that you were yanked along with the Joker. And they do that tracking shot, and it's a little bit wobbly because you can tell it's using a handheld. It kind of meant to look that way to make you feel like you just got yanked right across the screen.
You have all these rules, and you think they'll save you.
Who's in control? I have one rule.
Oh,
So that was a reaction shot of the crowd that's kind of watching behind. So it's more not really so much an establishing shot, because we already kind of know that's back there based off Gordon leaving, but we know this whole room and they're kind of watching from those two-way mirrors there. So that was a reaction shot to them of Batman getting a little bit more aggressive.
then that's the rule you'll have to break to know the truth.
Which is,
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules.
and tonight you're gonna break your one rule. I'm considering it.
No, there's only minutes left, so you're gonna have to play my little game if you want to save one of them.
Yeah.
You know, for a while there, I thought you really were, and the way you threw yourself after her.
But during that part of the scene, they were using a lot of close-ups there. They were using a lot of back and forth kind of shots for the dialogue, over the shoulder close-ups.
Look at you go!
And that was a very cool tilt right there with the camera as the Joker was getting up. It kind of just makes you feel like you're getting up with him. It's like a nice tilt.
Look at you go! Does Harvey know about you and his little bunny? Where are they? Killing is making a choice. Where are they? Choose between one life or...
Right here, during this portion of the scene, the camera is utilizing a low angle shot when Batman is talking to the Joker, and a high angle shot when the Joker is speaking. Actually, the other way around. Whenever the Batman is talking to the Joker, it's kind of using a high angle shot, looking down on top of the Joker, making him feel more vulnerable, and like the Batman's kind of like this menacing, powering feel to him right now. And as it swaps to the Joker's point of view, you can tell that a shot of him looking up at the Batman, you can tell he's a lot more aggressive and menacing, and he's really on the verge of breaking his only rule, which is not to kill.
the other. Your friend, the district attorney, or his blushing bride to be. You have nothing to threaten me with. Nothing to do with all your strength. Don't worry, I'm gonna tell you where they are. Both of them. And that's the point. You'll have to choose. He's at 250 52nd Street, and she's on Avenue X. That's this way. Which one you going after? Rachel. Forget it! 250 52nd Street!
Okay, so the ending of that there, One bit of foreshadowing in that scene is that the Joker makes him pick between love, which is Rachel, and justice, which is Dent. The ironic part is that when the Batman goes to save Rachel, it actually is Dent, and Rachel ends up perishing because the Joker has it set up to where if Batman picks personal desires over the good of the community, he would take the reason behind his choice away from him. This scene is a great display of how the Joker may be in prison, but he still has all the power.